Well, hey, book lovers, welcome back to another of our live book readings. Today, we are reading my New Year's Eve retelling, Reviving Time. We're going to be learning all about Viv, the daughter of Father Time, and how she has to stop her father from destroying the future because he doesn't like her party girl ways, and she may or may not be working with a handsome Fae prince that she just met, and maybe kissing in a closet. We're going to read it together today. I'm super excited. Let's talk a little bit about this, what you need to know about the story. So let's talk about the blurb. Can Father Time's daughter and a Fae prince stop the destruction of the future? Party girl Viv knows her time is running out to live a life without the overwhelming responsibility of overseeing all of time when her father's reign ends. So running into a handsome Fae prince at the holiday court celebration is the perfect excuse to forget her future and focus on her present, Eliad, until an explosion shatters her hopes of a break. When she discovers Father Time is sided with darkness to prevent the new year from happening, Viv must work against her father to stop the destruction of time and save the partygoers, free the leaders, even at deadly risk to herself, with the Fae Prince and the daughters of the court leaders at her side. This 6-book short story series features a new holiday in each installment, a powerful leading lady and a stunningly swooning man, and an epic universal party that can't possibly end in midnight. So this is, as you know, part of a 6-book series, and we go through all the holidays. These can be read in any order. These can be read as standalones. You don't have to read it because it's all about 6 different girls who are showing what has happened on their mission to stop Father Time. So the first book is Saving North. It is our Christmas one. Then we've got of course, our New Year's Eve girl, Viv. We do have Cupid's daughter for Valentine's Day. We've got the adopted daughter of a leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day. We do have our egg painter's daughter for Easter. And then we've got our Halloween queen costume maker's daughter for Halloween. And these can be read, again, in any order. Even as a standalone, you don't have to read the whole series, and you aren't going to have any spoilers because you're going to see overlapping things where they come together in conversation, but then they all go off with their men to save their part of the day before coming back together at the end. So you don't have to worry about spoilers. It all happens the same in all the books except when they go off on their own. So today, we're hanging out with Viv, we're hanging out with Eliad, and we are going to see what happens when the two of them meet right before the explosion happens. So I'm really excited about this. It is basically my excuse for writing makeout scenes and fight scenes. It is very short. It is a short story. It's only like 4 or 5 chapters long. You can read it in a single sitting and get all of the holiday vibes. So we know we can't really go out and do all the fun things for New Year's this year. This is the way to experience the party in a single sitting book. It is super easy, and I am super excited to read this. So let's actually go ahead and let's take a look at this together. I'm going to wear my blue light blocking glasses so that I don't burn my eyes out as I am reading this, and we're going to go through this together. If you're jumping in, go ahead and say, hey, let me know, did you grab your copy of Reviving Time today, which you can grab for only 99 cents today by going to revivingtimeinfo.com, robinsonbooks.com. It's available on all the major platforms in both ebook and paperback. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up my manuscript so I can read that for you. The music pulsed on the other side of the door as Viv promised to commit the moment to her memory. She would live with reckless abandon until she took her place in the Palace of Time. The Fae Prince she had just met would help dull the impending sense of responsibility she was ever creeping toward. Are you sure about this? His voice was deep as he murmured quietly over her shoulder. Are you? Kissing a pretty girl in a closet at the staff hallway? Yes, I'm sure. His hand glanced over her shoulder, tangling in her hair. He wanted to forget his responsibilities as much as she did. And the court celebration gala was just the place to stop thinking for a few moments and get lost in the event. It's a lovely party, Eliad said, breath feathering over Viv's cheek. It is, she murmured back. Her hand slipped around his back, pulling him toward her in the dim light. The cracks around the door let in limited light. It glittered around the shelves filled with tablecloths and decorative items. The Pulsar knew how to throw a party. How fortunate I am to have run into the Princess of Time this evening. The Fae Prince's voice trailed off as his lips brushed against her neck. Yes, how precisely did I run into the Prince of the Fae? Viv pushed back the dark-haired prince and looked into his eyes. That can't possibly have been an accident. Perhaps I saw you across the room and had to meet you. The music dipped outside, lowering enough to allow the music from one of the other parties to fill the space. The 6 portal rooms were connected by a single shared space that allowed for one to hear the music from each if standing in the center. The staff hallway heard music from at least 3. Well, I'm glad you did. You've been utterly charming the last 15 minutes, Viv giggled flirtatiously and ran 2 fingers from the top of his jaw down his neck to his shoulders, forcing him to shiver. I'm very convincing. He drifted, searching for her name. Viv, she wasn't offended. Iliad, he reminded her courteously, is this going anywhere or all in fun for the celebration? Just so we settle our expectations up front. Viv laughed too harshly. Why, are you planning on spending your life with me, Prince Iliad? His lips were warm against hers as he leaned in and pressed her against the shelf behind her. Sequins moved on the back of her dress, audibly shifting as his hand moved toward her shoulder. Oh, I can see myself spending more time with you, Princess Viv. He paused. What is Viv short for? He was interested in her. He wanted to spend time with her. Time was something Viv didn't have, and it was all she had. One day she'd be in charge of all of time and be responsible for the entire court. It weighed heavily on her, crushing her ribs and tightening around her lungs until she couldn't breathe. Iliad grabbed her to his chest as she swayed into him. She had to stop thinking about her impending fate and just enjoy the moment. She didn't have too many more. Did that one little statement overwhelm you that much? Eliad joked. A piece of his dark hair toppled in front of one eye. Viv reached up, tucking it back into place. Not at all. Less talking, more kissing. She tipped her head up, offering her lips to him. He grinned in the dim light, leaning forward. You'll tell me your full name one day, Princess. She doubted she would ever have to. Once she assumed her role as Mother Time, Viv would drift away altogether. She'd be surprised if any of her friends used it at all after the first year. The prince worked his fingers through her hair, making her eyelids flutter as she kissed him. Moving her lips to his neck, she pulled herself higher, leveraging her arm around his shoulders. He smiled under her touch, laughing happily. You're good at this. When one only has the present, one gets good at doing things before it's too late. You're worried about taking your role. He pulled back, looking at her in the dim light. His jaw tightened. I get that. You too, huh? Viv laughed snarkily. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, so they say, Iliad sighed. Are we sharing that burden by talking about it or forgetting it? Definitely forgetting it. She wished he would just focus and stop trying to connect with her emotionally. His pretty face was enough to distract her for the moment, and his hands in her hair were doing a fantastic job of keeping her mind occupied. But if he kept talking, she might break down, especially since he might actually understand. The last thing she needed was to connect with someone and lose her resolve. She couldn't be with the prince anyway. They both had too many responsibilities, and their lives could never work together as anything more than cooperating kingdoms. Iliad grabbed her, spinning her around. She crashed into another set of shelves, and she pulled him close. Time to forget. Viv tugged on his bottom lip as both of his hands wove into her hair at the base of her neck. I like this dress, he said. It suits you. Black is my color, she whispered. Yours too. The skin behind her ear tingled as he kissed it. Slowly, Iliad worked his way down her neck, using his cheek to bump the strap of her dress off of her shoulder. His hand cradled the back of her neck, the other trailing down her arm over the fallen strap to her wrist, where he held on to her with gentle power. The prince was careful with her as he let her forget. His kisses told her he needed it as much as she did, and she forced her fingers into his hairline, working in small circles to massage his head as he escaped inner touch. Viv's breath came in short puffs, pushing the locks of her hair away from her face when she moved and toppled them into her way. The ticking of the clock echoed in her mind, reminding her that soon she'd be signing her life away. It always echoed when she was away from the time palace. Leaning into the prince, she forced herself to focus on only him. Enjoying himself, Iliad laughed, kissing her again. Viv almost didn't know the floor moving Wow, I was doing good until that point. Viv almost didn't notice the floor moving beneath her as the explosion rang through the hallway. They pulled apart and raced toward the center. And that is chapter 1 of this story. If you have read Saving North, you know that the girls are about to meet in the center of the holiday court celebration, and they are about to kind of divvy up who goes to what job, who's going to handle what when it comes to stopping Father Time from destroying the future, because he doesn't want Viv to take over. And we're going to see them go off on their own missions and then come back together at the end if they were successful. So I am super excited for this series. Like I said, it is a 6-book series. It has all of the 6 different girls featured in their own story. So you will get to see, of course, New Year's Eve. You will get to see Christmas, you will get to see Valentine's Day. Maybe I should make myself full screen here. You'll get to see Valentine's Day. You will get to see St. Patrick's Day. You're going to get to see Easter, and you will get to spend some time in Halloween in this series. 6 books. You can read them in any order. They can be read as standalones. There aren't really spoilers in this because it all happens together. So you're going to see the same conversation with the girls together, and then you're going to see them individual going off to do their part of the saving the world task for the day, and then you get to see them kind of come back together. Danielle's in our comments saying, such a great story. I can't wait to see the rest of it. I know. I'm so excited. I'm pretty sure Viv and Eliad are my favorite couple in this series. I have not written the rest of them. So Christmas is done and New Year's is done. And we are voting. Do you guys want to see the rest of the series in the beginning of 2021? And then you can just kind of revisit on the holidays? Or do you actually want me to wait until next Halloween to put out the last book? Let me know in the comments below. I would love your opinions on this. And I am actually about to dive into writing our Valentine's Day, which I'm pretty sure is going to be my second favorite in this series. But let me know, which of these are you most excited for? Do you have a holiday that you prefer, one that you're very excited for? Each of the girls has a different type of relationship. So in Christmas, it's a forbidden relationship between Santa's daughter and an elven prince. We've got just met with our New Year's couple. Our Valentine's couple are best friends to lovers, and then we jump into an already established relationship with our St. Patrick's Day. We do have enemies to lovers for our Easter couple, and then we've got exes who really truly belong together for our Halloween couple, and I'm super excited for these. We've got people who do want to wait until next Halloween, and we've got people who do not want to wait until next Halloween. So I'm taking all these into consideration. I'm loving hearing your votes and your reasoning behind these. We will let you know as soon as I make a decision on this. I have not made a decision yet, but I am jumping into writing our Valentine's Day couple. You're going to learn all about, let me see if I can grab it. We're going to learn all about Livy and her best friend Orion, and I'm so excited to write this. They're little matchmakers. I adore them. So excited for this one. If you are excited for Reviving Time, it is now available both in ebook and in paperback form. You can get them everywhere books are sold. Some of the retailers have been a little bit slow on approving the files, so you can get the paperback version from Amazon, but you do have to wait to get it from like Barnes & Noble and some of the other places until after the new year, just because they're still on Christmas break over at that printer and distributor. So fear not, they are coming, but you can get them in ebook everywhere books are sold right now, and paperback from Amazon, paperback coming everywhere else after the new year rings in. Tomorrow, we're actually having a New Year's celebration on TikTok, so join me at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're giving away over 30 books, ebooks, and audiobooks in multiple prize groups, so we've got lots of big prize winners tomorrow on the live stream. I hope you will join me for all of the fun, and I will see you next week as we jump in and read another first chapter from one of my stories. We are going to be reading Virtually Sleeping Beauty next week, so I'm super excited for that one. And then I think we've reached the end of my current books with the first chapters, which means we may be jumping into reading some of my friends' books once we get permission, because copyright, and we're going to be reading some cool things together. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe and notification bell here on YouTube, and join me at 3 p.m. Eastern today as we design a gorgeous New Year's Eve inspired book cover live on air together, and you guys get to help me make decisions for that. So I will see you at 3 p.m. until next week with another live book reading. I hope you all have a great day and stay inspired. Bye, friends.